Welcome back to another Head2Head podcast, live podcast. I don't know if we want to use the name podcast, but we're back live. Look at this guy. We got the mountain man with us. Nick come out of a deer stand. And
Head2Head Nation.
What's up, everybody?
Back at the table for a little chit chat on the status of walleye fishing going into
just fishing in general, tournament fishing. Yeah. I'm excited for this one. There's a lot of topics. I don't think we're going to have a hard time coming up with things to talk about. The status or state of tournament fishing in general, be it bass, walleye, muskie world, panfish, whatever, is really in disarray, to be honest.
It seems like it. I mean, it really seems like we're getting into like more drama all the time. Every circuit has drama. Too much negative, I think. And I think people need to come to the realization that, they should be happy there is tournaments to fish right now.
Right.
And everybody's working. I mean, there's people that are working to put out a good product, and Head2Head is just a really good venue for us to give the anglers, input into how we end up running it. And obviously, I feel like we had a great inaugural season when we had the Pro Series, the PWS before. Yep. But obviously, we ran into issues financially. We found out we can make a really, really kick-butt program, but it's expensive.
Right, the cost of everything. And to your point, Nick, is every tournament trail is doing what they think is best, right?
Correct.
Right, wrong, in between, whatever you agree with or disagree with, that organization, be it Bassmaster, be it NWT, be it MWC, be it Head2Head, be it Wisco, anybody, they're all doing what they think is right. And one thing that gets lost in translation a lot of times is they don't have to do this.
That's right. I mean, I think as anglers, we have to realize that nobody really owes us anything. I mean, we have to come into it as okay. I mean, I don't want to say that the industry obviously wants us to help them promote product, sell fishing boats, motors, right. Boats, motors, tackle, etc., gear.
And tournaments set that too, right? The tournament anglers typically set the market for.
It had been that way, but I don't really think it is anymore. I think right now we're getting into that area where there's individual people that can have their own blogs, podcasts, etc., and just kick out content. And, it's kind of like how politics are. There's more people watching that kind of media as opposed to watching the tournament. So the value of somebody, just basically doing their own product, it can in some cases be more than what these companies are going to get from a tournament. So right. Like what I'm saying is we can't say, come out here as an angler and say, well, you guys should be doing this for me, because that's just not the way it is.
It's just not reality anymore.
Nobody owes me anything, and at the end of the day, there's other circuits out there. There's team circuits. There's the Pro-Am formats. I've fished all of them, and I like all of them. I mean, right. I feel like, as I started backing away from the National Walleye Tour, which I had a great career, I believe, with FLW and that format and the National Walleye Tour, it's mostly just because the way fishing's changing. We're not so much running a big spread and a team program anymore with that. I've had some of the greatest co-anglers in my boat, great friendships. I have people that I go visit every year now still that I met through walleye fishing. Just great people involved all around. But, with the forward-facing situation, it's tough. I mean, it seems like it's more of a net man.
Somebody's just
a gopher in the boat for you.
A sandwich grabber or a drink grabber for you.
And I feel bad for them because those guys want to compete.
They do. And there's a place for that too,
yeah,
right?
there is. So there's people, I think, that fish the NWT that like having that right now, and then there's guys that have done it a long time that kind of just would rather do something else. And that's where this new Head2Head format might fit perfect. And, we've been talking about it. I think a lot of you know from when Kyle talked to Joe in the last show about it, how it's going to go. And what everybody loves about Head2Head is the live portion, right?
Yep.
And everybody's had great feedback. We just have so much more engagement for fishing. It's so fun as an angler, and all the anglers that have fished a Head2Head can attest that they get more engagement from fans, fishing, non-fishing, altogether from Head2Head than any other format, and it's because of the live portion.
Yep.
But as we found out, very cost prohibitive, and that's got to be, you can't be into a deficit right off the bat.
Right.
So like, I'm gonna just roll here for a second. You came up with a way, because of so much people wanting pro walleye fishing back in Head2Head, to make a self-sustaining product, and that's what we're gonna start with, and then see where it goes from there. And we're gonna find ways, people that come in with a positive attitude are gonna try to help find ways to make it better every year.
Yep. And we're open to it. Like, anybody that's ever fished a tournament that I've ever ran I'm very approachable. Let's talk about it. Let's see what we can do with this, right? Like PWS, I've said it in the last show with Joe, and I said it on a couple podcasts I was on, is my focus is different. My focus with PWS was live. We need to have live. We need to make this work. We need it, gotta have it. Well, we weren't wrong then. We're still not wrong.
Right.
Walleye fishing needs live if they ever want to compete in the industry. They ever want to, a walleye angler wants to be considered a true pro, right? Bass has done a great job. Bassmaster, I'm saying, in the bass industry as a pro level, has done a great job of building that platform, that this is what you need. But everything has changed. Everything's changed. Right. The tournament organization doesn't necessarily need to be the one to put the live up anymore, because there's so much technology. We talked about it with Joe. You and I have spoke about it. An angler, for a very relatively cheap cost, can have live in their boat during the PWC, every event, and get that for their fans, get that for their sponsors, and it doesn't cost us anything. Because if the tournament format isn't there, there isn't a series, right? And the cost to overcome the cost of the live comes from sponsor dollars. Because 20% of the entries is awesome, but that's basically covering expenses.
Right.
That's it. If any company in the world wants to make money, look at, I don't know if you're following what's going on with NASCAR right now. Michael Jordan's team is suing NASCAR because NASCAR basically doesn't allow them to make any money. It's ridiculous that they're expected to compete and bring every week their teams, and NASCAR basically takes enough money from them that they can't make any money. Well, every business in the world wants to make money. That's why they're in business.
Correct.
And we're pretty unique in the fact that we want to make money, but it doesn't have to be, life-changing, right? Yeah, we would love to make money off of Head2Head at some point. Yeah. I'm sure Brian's sitting at home like, Kyle, I'd really love to make some money at this at some point. But not looking to make millions either. Like, let's get this off the ground. Let's get this going. And if the live part comes from a sponsorship somewhere down the line for us to produce the live again, have Fixed Productions do it, great. There is options for live for every angler to have it live in their boat, which we are allowing. And, we're going to help with doing live shows during the events all day, where if Nick has a camera in his boat, myself and my staff that's going to be at the events are going to be commentating and talking about that for the anglers that have cameras that we have access to. So
I think it's going to be a great platform for anglers to promote their sponsors, and we'll be able to make that live show. It'll be much more diverse. You'll be able to run the multi-screens, I'm sure. Yep. And if people want to use this platform to get in these events, it's just a great opportunity to get live coverage. And if I think about it, you face the facts, how many guys are going to run cameras full time?
Yeah, there is an expense.
Hopefully a lot of them, yep. But likely it won't be all of them. So the chances are, if you're in these regular season events and you're cracking fish, and you're gonna have some time to get some exposure.
Yeah, definitely.
For your sponsors. And I think that's, like I say, that ties into with like where the industry's at right now. You pretty much have to, take care of yourself.
Yeah, you got to self-promote.
You got to self-promote. I'm not a great guy to be speaking about it. Obviously, I'm rebuilding right now where I'm running the new Camus from Cedar Lake Sales, great boat, and working with Merck and running that V10 Verado, which is just a beast on that,
He's learning,
that rig.
He's taking them close.
And,
hey, you got to do it.
Everybody knows that I was always under the radar in my career. I didn't really do a ton of industry stuff. Just from weighing the financials, time constraints, et cetera, when I had young kids, and it was better for me to work, make money, and then do my fishing as a relaxing, not worry about it kind of a thing. And but now, with the economy, tournament fishing was at its peak, and then it crashed with the economy, and then it kind of came up, and now it's stagnant, I feel, again.
Yeah, it's pretty plateaued.
Everything's really stagnant, other than the fact that
COVID helped it a ton.
Everything's getting more expensive. Inflation's hurting it. So the cost of lodging is very, that's going up. Gas is really not doing anything. And, boats and motors, very expensive. It's very expensive to play this game right now. And, to try to do it without any backing is really tough. And, I think that the head-to-head format is such a pure, we're not looking at, we're only going to focus on these guys. Everybody's welcome here, and you can just do have such a good platform to be catching fish and selling, and not always having to be putting out Facebook videos and such. And there's so many people that are so good at it that are deeper in the industry that have went that other way, not so much as, I'm not saying that I don't do any of it, but I'm not a big social media. I don't have a huge social media presence. I am kind of everywhere with ice fishing and predator fishing, head-to-head. I do a little bit of, some of the Michigan Walleye Tour AIM. I get around and fish a bunch, but at the end of the day, you got the guys that have been deep in with pure fishing in Berkeley, Rapala, et cetera, and they're all working their tails off right now to try to keep tackle relevant in a world where in walleye fishing it's shrinking down to a jig and a crawler.
Yeah, in the bass side it's no better,
bass fishing isn't much different, ping and a minnow, you know what I mean? It's
funny, I typed into ChatGTP earlier today, how did I word it? How has forward-facing sonar, hot topic, right? In bass world, walleye world, it's changing the industry. How is that affected, and how is it going to affect tackle sales in 2026? And holy man, did it spit out a lot. It's basically, ChatGTP just goes through the internet and pulls out all the high points of the words I gave it, right? And it's basically saying that it's not crashing, it's plateaued and somewhat dropping. As a whole, it's still a massive number compared to boat sales and electronic sales. Electronic sales are straight up, are booming. Guys are running, hoopty boats, 20-year-old boats, some guys, but they have $40,000 worth of electronics on them. So that is going straight up. Tackle sales are plateauing, still a massive number compared to everything else as a whole. But jig and a minnow, for bass, right? It's pinging a minnow is the only thing. If you're not doing that, you're getting your tail kicked in at 99% of the tournaments.
You Senkos here and there.
Yeah,
you're getting a couple bags of Senkos.
In Bassmaster, you're getting whooped if you ain't scoping.
Right.
If you ain't scoping, you're hoping, right? And then walleye world is turned into a jig and a crawler, and it's tough. It's very tough on the industry.
We see some good stuff in the spring events with the walleyes where we, like this year we showcased a lot of hair jig fishing.
Yep.
We've seen some jig and plastic, hair jig fishing, and obviously the glide baits, whether it be Acme Hyper Rattle, Shiver Minnow, or a jig wrap.
Yep.
All that stuff still plays, and we're going to run into, I believe, we'll see that with this series where people are going to want to say, should we go artificial only? And we can always keep that conversation open.
Yeah, definitely. If for me this time, again, focus is different, right? Let's build the customers. Having live bait, building customers.
Right. I think the show, the live
way more
is
entertaining.
Better when there's more fish being caught.
Yeah. People want to see fish catches.
Right.
Plain and
like
simple.
last year in the league, I mean, those guys kept us busy in a lot of those events down the stretch. It's like we were just fish catch to fish catch to fish catch, and that, I mean, that's what I would want to watch. I'd like to see people catching them, what they're catching them on, and how they're presenting their
right.
their
Another twist is every fish counts.
Right.
For us, for the PWC, it's every fish counts. So you're gonna see trollers come back. Trolling's gonna come back.
Yeah,
I think there's going to be some lakes we go to where you're not going to be able to compete catching them one at a time.
Yeah, I mean, that could be true. It could be.
I hope it is. I mean, trolling's not the most entertaining thing to ever watch, but catching fish is catching fish. You know, we watched, you know, Captain Keller and Larry go through fish and win matches 2 years ago,
right.
trolling and keep.
Well, that's the beauty of the head-to-head format. You know, it's different than a Big Five.
Yep.
So every fish counts, and if you can just sit there and plow them, I mean, you could potentially be on a good enough bite if you're pulling 3 boards where you're basically winding fish in and there's more fish on already, and winding a fish in, cycling it, winding a fish in, cycling it. One
change we did make is the amount of lines is going to be state law or a max of 3.
Okay.
So, I mean, if like Minnesota, obviously you can only have 1.
Right.
So state law is going to be, like Wisconsin, you're going to be able to have 3 out.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and that's fun. It's going to be, I mean, it should be a fun year.
Yeah.
I mean, we worked on, obviously I helped working on with Kyle on some of these locations and trying to, and everybody does. I mean, maybe they do, maybe they don't. Maybe sometimes they get suckered into going somewhere at the wrong time of the year, and we make a long run. And I think that's one of the things that I favor head-to-head on, is not having to beat myself up for a big long run. I mean, it's fun to make a long run once in a while, but man,
Detroit River, we're going to have a boundary. I mean, we're not going to let everybody run as far as they will, because they will.
Yeah.
You know, guys will run 100 miles if I let them. So,
yeah.
You know, the season's going to be fun. I'm super excited to build it, and like it's been a process already. Finalized something today that is changed in the rules. If you go check it out, is we are going to be using a different app. We're going to be using e-tournament fishing for the PWC in 2026. So. Andy's got the logo pulled up here for us of e-tournament fishing, talking to Josh and over there, and everything that they do with their fishermen, for one, right? Mm-hmm. Nothing against Fish Donkey, nothing against Bonnie, not a bad thing to say about any of it, about Fish Donkey at all. Everything that e-tournament does, their fishermen, they can relate. Everything I talked to them about was yes instantly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes. We'll figure it out. We have time, is what I got back, and not a, well, you know, no. Or I don't know if we can do that. It's yes first. So I've been messing around with the app. It's awesome. Like I said, they're fishermen, so I'm excited about that. If you haven't checked them out, check it out. E-Tournament Fishing, they have a website, or you can download the app. There is a demo tournament in the app set up for head-to-head. So if you go in and log in, set up an account, and you can go in under tournaments, search the tournaments, and you can find the demo tournament. Feel free to play in there. Josh basically told me go ahead and try and break it. So log in, check it out, mess around with it. That is the app we're going to be using. So that will be open for people to play around with for a while here. So.
Right. And it looks like I took a brief look at it with you while you're looking at it, and it seems very straightforward. Should be easy.
Yep, very straightforward.
Practice, go through that, and then we'll find, bump boards, like you say. Look, kind of feeling around there to get some.
Yeah, we're going to have boards that will be the same for everybody. He recommended another company that has some that look really nice. So
trough boards, which I think
they have really to be a trough.
When you're by yourself,
yeah. They got to be able to kind of not locked fishing, but hold the fish in from jumping around. So then that's another thing Joe and I talked about, and we had questions on, was how are guys going to take a picture and a video, and everything in that app you can flip the screen around. So like your hero shot, right? Because we're going to require the picture of the fish on the bump board a hero shot, and then a release video. The hero shot, you can literally flip it around, do a selfie. I talked to one angler that's going to fish. He has a mount on his dash for his phone already. He's going to put it on there and set the timer to take a picture. I mean, all easy things. Taking a video, release videos, same thing. You know, Nick, you and I were messing around with it, and all right, we got a question here. Is camera operators that cost the most for live, or is it the equipment? Cam operators is very, very expensive. That is camera operator travel. The equipment is ungodly expensive. One of the setups that the camera operators have, I mean, you're pushing $30,000.
Right.
You have 10 cameras, it's pretty easy math, right?
Gets ugly in a hurry.
Camera operators is a consistent every event cost, where the equipment we buy one time, hopefully. Knock on wood.
So
hopefully.
yeah, like in regards to that question, when you think about the last PWS that we had professional camera people for all the boats, and
that's $600 a day.
And so think about paying them for that day. Now also think about flying them out. A lot of these guys were flying in from all over the country, and then also hotel rooms, rental vehicles.
Yeah, per diem. They're away from home, so
ugly
it's a per
really
diem.
Fast.
Parking, parking at the airport they flew from.
Yeah, so that was a huge expense.
Yeah.
And we did, it was just bad timing with COVID, obviously, but we did get some good sponsor money kicking in to cover some of that.
Cover some of that, yeah.
It's just a lot to try to set up this circuit, right off the bat with those kind of costs. So this is basically where we're going to start with, and we'll see how the industry reacts. And
like I said, it's
they have to gain from it.
The focus is different. Let's build the customer base first, right? Let's get the core. Let's get 20, 30, 50, 80, 100 anglers, whatever it's going to be, and build it. Kind of reverse engineered from what we were thinking with PWS, right? Like PWS was, if you build it, offer this, they're going to come. Yeah, we had 32 boat field. Yeah, we would have had a full field for year 2. It's just the dollars and cents is what put it away. It had nothing to do with any of the other rumors. Is 100%. It
was destined to lose money. We just didn't have that kind of backing to pay those bills.
Right.
So it was just some of the most fantastic fun I've had tournament fishing ever.
Especially that first event.
So I was grateful all along for that.
Are you looking forward to Detroit River at all?
Yeah, I haven't really thought a whole lot about this circuit yet, and
been sitting at deer stand too much. Thinking about deer.
Yeah, I've been deer hunting. That's kind of what defines me. I'm very seasonal. Ice fishing, deer hunting, fishing. Hats off to all those guys that have been out there finding open water and grinding.
That's also why you're as good at them things as you are, because you can shut off what's over, get into this, and focus on that.
I mean, sometimes I'm pretty hard on myself. I feel like I'm good at everything. I'm not great at anything. I'd probably be better if I would just focus on it, but I just decided long ago that that's not who I am. I want to aspire to be great each season at a different thing. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited to get on the other side of it. It is, you think about it, it's a big investment, and I'm interested to see where it's going to grow, and I'm interested to see how I find my place in it, the way it's going to go. Obviously, I'm not a huge tech social media guy, but I'm not saying that. My life has changed now where my kids are older and grown up, and I feel like I have, people have a little bit of respect for what I say. I've had a long career, and I feel like there's guys that can really benefit from this. Maybe I can, I don't want to say resurrect. I only was out of it for a year professionally. And I had a good year last year fishing some team stuff with my daughter. I fished the Michigan Walleye Tour, another good group of guys that does a great job. Yep. There's so many good ones out there right now. There's so much fun stuff to fish like that. And I think, that's kind of what I wanted to come into this today, is that we're another option of something that you can use. Be positive if you have, you have constructive criticism, that's great. We're going to take it all in, and there's, in a negative world, be positive, right? I mean, we have
That's
so
a good
much,
way to put it. There is so much negative.
We went through years of, you run into somebody who's on the fringe of not really a big professional fisherman, and the first thing, what about those guys putting weights in the fish? We're finally getting over that. And,
Actually, I had somebody bring that up today.
God bless those guys that run the lutes, because they do a heck of a job, and they caught those guys.
I really
want a great circuit, and they probably deal with this crap like nonstop.
I really want to meet that tournament director, shake his hand, and give him a hug, because, man, I don't know how I would have handled that.
I know. I mean, and everything runs into tough situations, and I don't envy you. I mean, I feel like we went smooth last year with the Walleye League.
And, the leagues went awesome. I love the leagues. I love the league
bass and the walleye seem to go really smooth, and everybody has bumps. I think there's bumps and everything, but AIM's always proactive, trying to do a good job. They run a great team circuit. They're fun tournaments.
Yep.
They've got their program down, and that's what they do. And I've been one to harp on, and so I mean, I stopped being a hypocrite, and I had things I didn't like about the NWT, and rather than bitch about it, I basically stopped fishing it, and that's the way you should react. If it's not what you want, don't fish it. Nobody's forcing you.
There's enough options out there.
There's options out there.
There's options, and like you said, be positive in a negative world, and I don't envy some of the situations that just the NWT got themselves into, and the situations the anglers brought to them, right? And there's never a right or wrong way to handle something when it's just thrown at you. Like you have to make a decision and stick to it. You have to kind of bury your horns on this is my decision, and if it's not what the anglers love, well, it's gonna be what it is. Like I had that scenario in PWS, and it sucked, and everything worked out, and hopefully in one of these next couple weeks shows here, we're gonna sit down and talk about who that was with. So
right, and Jeff
never right or wrong.
Jeff Kelm, I know him well. He's a friend of mine. I've known him through ice fishing.
Great guy.
He's done a heck of a job. He's a great human being.
Trevor, I'm going to throw this up on the screen just so everybody can see it.
He's run into some really tough situations.
Go Cowboys.
And run into some just tough situations. There was a little bit of drama with the NWT at the end of the year, and
it sucks
at the end of the day, as a tournament director, you have to make a decision, move on, and you're never going to please anybody. It's kind of like deer management, right? There's people that are getting deer, they're happy. People that aren't getting deer, they're not happy. And
that situation at the end of the year was, like, for them, is something that they never thought would happen.
Right.
Learning from it, I guarantee you there's something in the rules that corrects that now. I know we have something in, so I learned from it.
Right, and
you're just never right or wrong.
It's an armchair quarterback, and I had plenty of people ask me, and I had my opinion on it. It's not important. My opinion's not relevant on it.
You weren't involved.
The only one that matters is the tournament director. And when you got a guy that's doing the best job he can, and he's a good guy, and he's just out there trying to do what he thinks is right, that's what you got to live with and move on.
Right.
And like I said, it's kind of like voting. It's kind of like politics. If that's not your deal, move on to the next one.
Right.
Try to be positive in a negative world. I mean, there's so many armchair quarterbacks, so many people that want to sit behind a keyboard and throw shade on everything, and I don't want to do that. I want to pull everybody together. I think that everybody in this industry needs to pull together. There's so many guys that do a great job, and they have their own little niche. You have the group doing the tour level gold, and they do a great job.
Awesome. It's one of the best produced shows.
I've never watched it. I'm self-confessed terrible. I don't watch anyone else fish.
It's worth it.
Because
honestly, it's worth watching, not to learn or whatever, to watch just the process that the guys go through at a tournament and the fun they have. That's what I liked about the show the most, is you get to see that group laughing, joking. You get to see Hoyer candid all the time. Like, that he's funnier than hell. Like, it seems like he just doesn't take anything serious, and he just goes out there, works hard, and dominates. It's very cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that
do a great job
the timing on that with having Dewey and Max and all those guys, and they've all had great successful careers. And So they've done a great job with that. And then you have the, Next Bite crew and all those guys, and now Tom Wynn's in with those guys, and he does
what he's doing with the university.
ton of stuff with his university, and just great people. And those guys have done so much for walleye fishing.
Tom's a perfect example of what we were talking about before with, like, you have to kind of promote yourself, right?
Correct. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at is that this is a good venue for that, and we don't have to be exclusive to anybody. We don't have to have animosity. We don't need to be like the Bloods and the Crips here. You know what I mean? We have.
What is it? The Socs and the Greasers?
I feel like so many people have done so much, and they're all welcome here, and they could all do a great job. Like I said, that crew, they've done so much for fishing, and the Next Bite crew and those guys.
The truth of the matter is,
Chase and Tom Kimos and Gary, of course, and Keith, and they all put out great content. And
the industry wouldn't be where it is right now if it wasn't for them guys.
No, they've done a heck of a job, and they're all great speakers. They can do a great show. I'm up here usually just kind of winging it, and I'm not the best speaker or the best commentator, but I wanted Head2Head to survive, so that's why I'm here, and that's why I keep doing it. And yeah, I mean, I even have that in the back of my head. Maybe I should stay on and do the live shows with you rather than fish something else, but I don't know. It's hard for me some days.
If that's a decision you make, you have a chair for sure, because
it's very hard for me to not be in the boat.
The fans enjoy your knowledge. They're, again, this is the product that we put out, like it, hate it, whatever. But we've never heard a negative thing about any of the commentators besides Matt Trotz was.
I did see one at the end of last year that said, Head2Head was great. The commentators were terrible.
Well, screw that guy.
That's the way it goes.
Nick.
That's the way it goes. I try to have fun with it, and I really enjoyed being on with Brian. I think I have a good vibe with Brian.
If we can keep Brian focused.
Yeah.
While he's commentating, that's the tough part.
And Captain Keller as well. I did a great show with Captain.
The knowledge is.
And Tyler was great too.
Tyler was awesome. It was unfortunate that we lost Tyler when we did halfway through the year. And
yeah, I mean, it's understandable though.
Oh yeah,
the store closing, and
I think young kid. He's got to do what's right for him and his family.
I believe he's working for Josh Wiesner at the boat dock now, and seems to be doing well. Trevor Gantz on here just will not let that Poor Jeff, he and the Lions, he just is nonstop.
It is.
It's pretty comical.
Everybody should go to Facebook right now and get Jeff wound up about how bad the Lions are, just for fun. And I like the Lions. I just like messing with Jeff. Ted Miller has got a comment about Head2Head. It's just, like you said, it's just actual people fishing. That's the cool thing about Head2Head is everybody could relate to the anglers, right?
Right.
Like, Ted's a perfect example. Before Head2Head, no offense, Ted, but nobody outside of Fox River and Wisconsin and this area really knew who Ted was. Myself included, but I didn't really know a lot of the walleye guys. He came in, made a splash. Him and Jeff dominated the tournament, won a tournament. Obviously, him being involved as much as he was with Head2Head was a lot of fun, and he's a regular
Thanks,
dude.
Dylan.
So,
yeah.
What's up, Ted? I like Ted. I'll
tell you what, all these guys getting to know the anglers, that's the great part of it. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I hope it gets back to where we can have a pro series with camera guys, with marshals. I would love to see the whole deal.
I would too.
I mean.
But again, Nick, I don't know that you need that. I don't know that
you need that.
I don't know that we need, like, state of the industry, right?
Right.
I don't think fishing in general, bass fishing, Bassmaster, they're making a huge mistake, in my opinion, with what they're doing to the anglers with live. A couple of the anglers at Bass pioneered I have my own stream in the back of my boat the whole day. Chris Zaldane, Logan Parks, there were some other anglers that did it. And Bass is banning that. That's a huge mistake on their part, in my opinion. And the reason I say that is it's time for the anglers to promote themselves and spend some money to promote yourself.
Right.
The platform's here. I know what I'm going to hear about. We're fishing for our own money. Yeah, because we have to spend so much money to build the platform, to give it, to all the expenses that go with it. Live is the greatest part of fishing. I think everybody will agree that live is probably the greatest thing to ever come to fishing. That put it on on TV, gave it a spectacle, right? When FLW started doing shows with, or PWT Day started doing shows about the tournaments, that put it on the map. And if the anglers start paying for that, you'll see payouts go up.
Right.
You'll see it climb. If us as an organization only have to cover our true expenses and not live and everything else,
yeah,
I mean,
there'll be more money going to the anglers when
definitely.
the sponsors do come on board.
Definitely, yeah. We're not. I had an angler from PWS years that year. I hadn't talked to him in a while after the PWS went away, and I consider him a friend. And like, my fault, his fault, whatever, we just lost touch. And when I did see him, he said to me, and that really stuck in the back of my head, was, we should have got rid of production. Mm-hmm. Well, at the time, I'm thinking, you're crazy.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Well, 2 years later, 3 years later almost, the anglers need to start putting some skin in the game besides their entry fee.
Yeah, like I said, again, don't treat it as these people owe me.
Yep.
Nobody owes anybody anything. It was just it was actually, you know.
And we will have live. The championship is going to be live streamed at some level. And it comes down to participation, right? Mm-hmm. If we get a 50 boat average through the year, we're going to be live streaming the championship. If we have a 30, it's going to be less. But if a sponsor comes along and says, I want this live streamed and here's a check,
sure,
stroke it out, we'll fire it all up and have everyone live streamed. Ted Miller brought that up about the championship being live streamed, and yes, it will be. The anglers have a unique opportunity with us to do that. We're allowing any angler to do that. If you guys want to have a camera in your boat, we have everything behind the wall in front of us to bring that to life.
Yeah, so your cameras for all the anglers will be brought up on the live show in the regular season events.
Yep.
We're going to have, you know, like Kyle and I had talked, if there's 30 guys that have their own cameras, we can cycle through and have multi-screens up.
We could bring probably 50 cameras into this building at one time.
Bring them in, yeah, we can bring them all in, and we can cycle through, and when somebody's got action going on or want to talk a little bit about what they're doing, we can make that happen. And
we're not going to have live fishing that we produce, that we put out like we did in the past. We are going to have a live show from takeoff to weigh-in at every event. It's going to be, if anybody has ever watched a Bassmaster, it's going to be like their live mix, right? Where it's myself, Justin Munt's going to be traveling with me. Some of the other guys that you've seen around at Head2Head from the beginning, hopefully are going to be around as well. And we're going to sit and talk about the leaderboard, talk about, if we have guys with cameras, we'll have their camera up and we'll talk about what they're doing. That's the plan for us to do live, to get it out there, right? And you know, sponsors come, we got to have value for the sponsors as well. You know, real quick, Nick Ackley fished Head2Head this last year. You know, this past season, he had a ton of fun. Them two, you couldn't slap the smiles off their faces every event. They didn't have the most successful season, but I bet they probably had the most fun.
Yep, absolutely.
You know, always talking education, teaching. Every time he went to their boat, they were talking about what they're doing, why they're doing it. Him and Captain Bob did an awesome job. It was a lot of fun having them guys in the leagues. So the live part, you know, live as a whole in the industry it's been a misconception from the beginning because Bass has always had it for free.
Right.
Right? How many live streams, anything streaming nowadays, do you get for free? Like literally zero.
Right.
Yeah, YouTube is there. If you want to watch some exclusive stuff, you pay for it. If you want to watch something on Peacock, you pay for it. The NFL games, NFL tonight, right? You got to have Prime to watch the game. So everything is being paid for. And, you know, I remember Brian telling us 4 or 5 years ago, like, we need to put this behind a paywall. And I'm thinking, you're crazy. He's right. At some point, everything's going to be behind a paywall. At some point, Bassmaster is going to be behind a paywall.
I agree. It has to be. I mean, it's...
Got to get paid for somehow.
Yeah, otherwise all we are doing is just sitting here and gambling, like gambling with our own money.
And in the reality, that's what it is. And I'm a tournament fisherman too, guys. Like, I get it, how much it costs, and I've always fished for my own money. That's just what it is. Unfortunately, that's what our sport is. It hasn't grown to a level of sponsors coming in and not fishing for your own money.
I mean, at the end of the day,
Often, anyway.
most of the walleye circuits right now are, I mean, they're all that way. And, you know, the local team ones are more, it's not even really feasible to travel for them. You just do it for fun.
It's for fun,
But,
right?
like, you do have an opportunity to win, something, a high value on the National Walleye Tour.
Mm-hmm.
But, again, you don't have the live really much. You have a bit of a show.
Yep.
But you still, if you have to, content is where it's at, right?
It is.
So
it is.
I think people in the industry are more interested in guys that are going to create content than if you're fishing. They don't care so much if you're fishing the tournament. There's plenty of people I could name off that I'm not going to name off that just kick out content nonstop that are more valuable right now than somebody because they're fishing a tournament.
Right.
So
Right.
a lot
And
of those guys,
they're going to stay on the forefront.
the guys that are good at content that are fishing the tournaments, they're having to separately put out their content plus fish the tournament. This would be an opportunity to kind of do it all in one swell foop.
One hot topic, Nick, we touched on a little bit was forward-facing sonar. We have a regulation in the rules that you can only have 2 units, or two transducers, sorry. Last year we seen in the leagues that there was some boats that had up to 6 transducers. Were awesome, very efficient, and you saw the anglers fish very, very efficiently and not miss a beat and catch as many fish as you possibly can. But I mean, it's crazy.
It was wild when you got down to the point where they have a shuttle on both sides in the back of the boat.
Yep, it's insane.
Plus intense.
Plus transducers off your jack plate. I mean, that's
also
crazy.
That's another value of the live show, just to see how people set up their boats.
Yep.
And people ask me all the time, what was that unit he was using, or what was this or that or the other thing? And
a lot of the guys, and it will always continue because with the live comes the ability to talk about X unit and this is X, Y, or Z. This is why I have this, whatever, pushing sponsors. What is your thoughts on forward-facing sonar? Do you think every tournament league is putting some sort of restriction on it? There's bass tournament leagues and the NPFL don't allow it at all. Bassmaster now has some events with, some without. I don't know if you've seen what the BFLs are doing, which is absolutely ridiculous. It's you're only allowed to use it for so much time, and the co-angler controls that time.
Yeah,
it's just I don't know who dreamed that up.
I don't know who dreamed that up, but that's garbage.
Do you think it's
I jumped on board. I've been on board with just not going backwards in technology.
Yep.
I feel like the genie's out of the bottle. There's so many. I think there's a misconception of people that don't do it or don't, the negative people that are on the keyboards talking about it don't understand how high of a level you can get to, that you think you're there and then you can get there and then you get there and then the next year you're there and then the next year you're doing something that you couldn't do the year before and after that, and there's no end to it. And you start talking to some of these guys, and when I was in Estonia in the fall, and I learned all kinds of more stuff that we don't even really talk about here that's more in depth.
That's awesome.
And more technical into the physics and math of it. And, I get what Bass is doing, right? It seems crazy to go backwards, but I can't say I didn't see it coming. When they start talking about doing half the events with it on, and kind of that coin toss. But the thing is when you looked at the live feed from an Elite Series event, it was 90% negative about.
I just got a text.
It was like unbelievable. Like I couldn't believe how negative it is.
Bash.
It was just a torrent of hate for forward facing. And it seems so unfounded to me, because if you're watching these guys, whether they're looking at the graph or not, it just seems so irrelevant. I want to see them stroke big fish.
I want to see people catch fish.
I want to see awesome fish catches. And
is it cool watching a guy slack line on a jig for bass? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very cool. I'm with you on the technology part. I don't think we ever need to go backwards or should ever go backwards. Otherwise, we wouldn't be sitting here right now if technology didn't move. Like, we're all guilty of these things right here.
Right.
If There's some people you take your cell phone away.
I'm
We're all
telling
going
you
to
right now that it's going to be the same guys. You think like young Shakurat, Jay Shakurat, you look at Trey McKinney. These guys,
the cream's always going to rise at the top.
Are going to murder people with or without it. I promise you, because Jay, he learned to fish on tough Wisconsin River, tough fishing, both green ones and brown ones, and he's a hammer. You know, I mean, it just he gets it. He has this. He's fishy. Those guys are all fishy, and it isn't. I mean, they can go into a tournament without forward facing and just wreck everybody the same, whether they need it or not. There was one where Jay was throwing big plugs in hydrilla, and I mean, that was more spot fishing than. And I mean, I'm sure he saw some of those fish in there, but those guys are comfortable without it.
Yep, and you're going to see that on the walleye side too. At some point, there's going to be some regulations against it, and maybe. I don't see us ever going that way right now. Who knows what could happen?
Yeah.
Who knows where it's going to go? But like you said, the cream, the talent, the true talent's always going to rise. Patrick Walters is a perfect example on the bass side. He fished bass, very successful, was known as a scoper.
Yeah.
Dominated, hasn't won a classic or an AOI yet, but he will in bass. He goes over to the MPFL and dominates the MPFL the first couple of years. Well, now scope, you can't scope, so Patrick's going to struggle. Well, he still won an event. He won Angler of the Year without live scope. That guy is just, like you said, he's fishy. He's a fish hound. He's going to catch them. It doesn't matter what lake you put him on in the country. He's going to put in the time and figure him out. And I'm with you on the hate for it. Like, Randy Blockett, I hate to say that he's been right this whole time, but he has been kind of right. Like, it is hurting the fishing industry.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
It's not devastating fisheries like he says it is going to. That's not happening because fish have been around forever. Like, they're smart creatures.
Right.
They're going to adapt. Like, out on the bay of Green Bay, you run your scope across the school of fish, and you literally watch them run away from you.
Yeah, I think
they disappear.
Social media has a worse impact than that's the worst technology for decimating a fishery right now. And
it used to be Lake Link, now it's Facebook.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, social media definitely has a higher impact on it than forward facing. There's been some really good studies that DNRs. There's a young guy, biologist in Michigan that did a good study where he basically used their creel surveys and actually tied in some forward-facing questions, and basically over 5 years compiled some really good data on what's the most impacted by it. And open water fishing creel survey wise, it really didn't have a whole lot to do with anything. Where it hurt the most was things like ice fishing, winter crappie, basin fish, where they can't hide.
They can't hide.
That's a totally different tangent. I'm not going to go down that.
And that's up to fisheries or DNR in each state to control their fisheries.
Right.
Like, if right now there's something going on in the bay, if you don't know the perch population is ridiculous right now, you do now. It's dumb.
Right.
They need to control it right now. It's at 15 right now, daily limit. That needs to drop to 5 like 2026.
Yeah.
Or you're going to see that perch population decimated like it was 20 years ago.
We went from great perch fishing when I was younger to decimated perch fishing, and we get the perch back, and it's like, let's not kill them all right away.
Right. And they're
easy. It's fun to have those around.
They're easy to find. They're easy to catch. Literally easy to catch. I started perch fishing this year. Beginning of the year, I didn't even own a perch rod. Call a couple buddies. I'm like, what do you guys, just point me in a right direction somewhere. Like, just turn your live scope on and look for perch instead of bass. I'm like, oh, okay. And you could go out on the bay and catch limit every day.
Well, and we're really fortunate to have such a diverse fishery in the bay, and we need to take care of it. And now you're starting to see some of the guys, even guides, Larry that's been on talking about, holy smokes, we got to really evaluate, the changes of what's going on here. And, one of those things, pressure in the fall and the winter, if you've lived around here your whole life, that's kind of a new thing. There's a lot more harvest going on in the fall and winter and the rivers that never was a factor before. And we have a great walleye population, but it's definitely, the harvest has changed a lot. And
Well, there's more people on the water too.
There is more people on the water. And
COVID just piled people into boat landings, and the percentage of them are starting to drop a little bit. You're seeing boats for sale, and that's why the used boat market sucks, is because there's so many people that got in during COVID, and getting out now. That's a whole nother topic, is just boat sales in general. But LiveScope, to kind of wrap this up with LiveScope, is I'm with you on the technology.
It's here. Why go backwards, right?
Right. We're
going to go back to canoes and kayaks.
Look at the adjustments and things that more stuff is coming out because of LiveScope. Boat brakes. Man, I was on Joe Okada's boat with him a couple times this year. Man, is that awesome.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable. The boat brakes are crazy. Bassmaster banned them. They didn't allow them because of, I don't know why. That, to me, didn't make any sense. If you're going to allow scoping, why not let the tools you have? It's crazy to me that they did that. But
yeah,
LiveScope, to me, from the head-to-head standpoint as the tournament director and the guy that makes the rules, is, for me, it's here to stay. 2 transducers is all you need. And at some point that might fall to 1. Who knows? We got.
It's the bow crossbow thing.
Yep.
I mean, it's anything. I don't know. I'm old school. I figure if it, the technology's here, learn it. Don't let people kick your butt. I'm the first one to tell you it's a bit bittersweet. I've talked about this a million times on here, that through most of the middle of my career, you had to be well-rounded and be able to pull lead good,
yep,
pull spinners good, pull bouncers, long line, jig, cast, and all the above, drift, and boat control, really good boat control. And you had to know why they were there. It's different now.
Oh yeah, it's definitely different.
It's like my friend John Hoyer says, it's all math. You got to find the new way to be the most efficient and put your bait in front of more fish than the next guy, the right ones.
And just because you have it doesn't mean you're going to turn into John Hoyer either.
Right.
That's just fishing in general, right? We got a couple questions. Adam asks if there are going to be any volunteer opportunities at the events. Absolutely. Every event, we're going to definitely put out some feelers and trying to get some help there. Like you brought up earlier, Nick, I would love to get to a point where we have observers in every boat. That is a massive undertaking if we end up with 50, 60. For PWS, we had 32, and it was a scramble. I had a full head of hair before PWS year 1.
Yeah.
With the marshals, the night before the first event, a guy got in a car accident leaving our meeting, and the next morning, I had no idea, right? The next morning we get there, and Katie was, working for us then, and she had to go out in a boat. She wasn't dressed to go out there. And yes, there's going to be volunteer opportunities. Definitely going to be looking for some media boats at each event to get some pictures and stuff like that. What else we got for comments
I would love, in regards to that, I would love to see it get to the point where you had marshals and weighed fish rather than a projected weight. But
a true weight would be best.
Right now, where we are.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We know that we're not.
And it's going to be something we listen to the anglers, right? If we have a group at the end of the season, and we have a great average and a good core group, and they're like, we got to do weight. We got to figure this out on how to do weight. It's, there's nothing that can't be figured out.
Right.
So we have a bunch of Bubba scales from the leagues for the last 2 years. So, it's there. It's just sending somebody out there to weigh a fish without an observer just isn't going to happen. So
it's hard to figure out a way to keep that honest and fair without an observer in the boat, for sure.
Definitely.
That's something where you could run. We could get to the point where we run some kind of a sign up for if anybody wants to be in the boat for this kind of an operation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you might be surprised. You might get people that want to be involved.
So Tyler just sent a message in saying that he's going to take a shot for every time we say into industry. So into industry, that's 2. Oh, he's got to be pretty drunk by now.
Nick Ackley's still lobbying for a salmon event.
Oh man, don't even get me started on that. No. Nope.
And Dylan talking about that.
A salmon event would be so badass, but man, I'm not doing that. No.
How about an ice fishing?
I went down this whole.
How about an ice fishing event?
Ice fishing would be way better than a salmon one, because the salmon one, that was a special group of people. Sorry, salmon guys, but
Ted's talking about too as well, like all the technology being used, and I mean, I feel like the guys that grasped side imaging when it first came out, I was on board with that.
They had an advantage.
It was a huge advantage, and that was responsible for a lot of the success I had on the Bay early in my career. Basically, unmapped stuff from Marinette all the way up to, essentially Escanaba, and just side imaging and dropping waypoints on what would be the best stuff.
I think everybody still uses 2D at some point.
So in a way, we found that stuff different. Now we just look at it. So I still use 2D, and I use side imaging, and I use forward facing.
There's a huge advantage to having the 2D running while you're running around on pad.
Yeah.
If you know what you're looking for, the color changes and the contour changes, you can find stuff that's not on a map.
Yeah, there's so many aspects to it where, with forward facing now, that I feel like you still, you notice it, but it's not quite as crucial, like the why things are the way they are. But anyway.
Tyler had to, his wife had to call the ambulance for him because he's drinking too much because of the industry talk.
Of the liquor.
We miss you,
try
Tyler.
Not to say this, that, there.
Them, those, these.
I
Andy
don't
Cleveland's
do that
not
when
here.
I'm on the air as much as possible.
Them, those, these. That's a Wisconsin thing for sure.
Especially over here in the Fox Valley.
We talked about options for fishermen, like for anglers. Bass has tons of options. There's pros and cons to everything. The bass industry has just pro level leagues. There's 3 different ones that you can choose to fish. Now there's a team event coming out that's it's either $3,000 or $5,000 entry that's paying $100,000 to win. That a lot of the pros are teaming up and going to fish.
Sure,
I don't remember
I saw
I don't remember what it's called, but I'm definitely interested in that schedule.
I did see videos of those guys fishing. Yeah.
2027. That's likely what my buddy and I are going to look at doing, is go to do that team circuit at that level rather than individual. But in the walleye side, you have just as many options. Like if you want to tournament fish in the walleye world, you're fishing every weekend.
Absolutely.
Locally, not only around here, but there's tournaments all over the place. At a pro level, the options are there as well. It's like I said when Joe and I sat down, we're not coming out trying to throw shade on any other tournament circuit.
Absolutely not.
Without them other tournament circuits, head-to-head doesn't exist because the industry isn't what it is. There's a lot of people in the industry currently and that are out of the industry currently that we all need to respect. Like we all need to understand how we got to where we're at today. And that's where, again, I loved your what you said, to be nice and be positive in a negative world. Like I understand that as I got more and more into the walleye side of things, like there's a lot of respect that's lost that needs to be there.
Right.
For some people in the industry. So
absolutely.
I'm not going to sit here and call names out, but everybody knows, there's groups, there's individuals, there's tournament trails that set us on the path of where we're at now that, I have a lot of respect for as I get deeper into the walleye world.
Yeah, I could see potential in my next season fishing AIM, MWC, NWT, Michigan Walleye Tour, and these, to some, like some anywhere.
Sheboygan Walleye Club,
yeah,
locally.
And again, another great organization. There's so many great organizations, and that's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, we have a different format, being solo.
Yep.
There's a lot of guys that are looking for that, if that's what you're looking for. Fishing not without the the no-call business where you're kind of worried about getting exactly the right length of fish. That gets a little bit.
Could you imagine? You had to do it, I guess, but I could never imagine. I remember watching on Tour Level Gold one event, Max. He by far won that tournament if he could have weighed everything he caught.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I had
away.
events where. Yeah, it can get very frustrating when they're either
keep a 17
inch too big or an inch too small.
Throw back an 8-pounder.
And
What?
You know, it gets really tough, and this is a little bit refreshing on that end of it, where you're not worried about babysitting fish in the live well.
There's another one for you, Tyler. Yeah. Into industry back. Thanks to Nick. Sydney, you can blame Nick for that shot. Yeah, there's not a lack of things to go fish, and coming out with this again, and like I said, I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but my attitude, my outlook has changed 100% on what we need to do for the industry to be successful.
Right.
And I firmly believe that it's time for the anglers to have some skin in the game on the live side. If live is really wanted, and it's needed in walleye fishing, 100%, it's needed. 100%. Then we have the opportunity as in the walleye industry right now to change that, right? Change that outlook of, well, Bassmaster does it, so we have to supply it, or NPFL has live, or MLF has live, and the anglers don't have to pay for it. Well, that's not sustainable.
Yeah.
It's not sustainable. It's being proven it's not sustainable. And for an industry to stick around, or a series to stick around, it has to be a two-way street. And we're willing to have the open mind and give the guys the platform to put the stuff on and help, put together the kits for guys to buy or rent, or however this is going to work out, which we're going to have that stuff put together here shortly, to give you that opportunity to do that. And technology is so much different now than it was when we started in 2019, that it's a lot simpler now than it was then.
Yeah. And that the other thing I was going to add to it is just about the fact that we're going to be doing the app, and that there's so many bodies of water people really have been begging other tours to go back to.
Yeah.
And
yep.
When you're putting fish in the boat, the only one really doing it is AIM because of the catch, record, release. So having the catch, record, release at a pro level event is something that people are asking for as well.
Like you said, it opens up so many lakes.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. It just opens up more doors on where people want us to come. There's places that, there's basically towns that don't want a tour to come and put fish in the boat for a live weigh-in right now, and now we don't have to worry about that, and it should go really well. I think we're going to bring more people that have been missing some of those natural Minnesota lakes, haven't been on there very much,
right.
And it'll be good to get some of that back, and we'll have a very diverse tour with different bodies of water, and yeah, just paddle down, keep catching them all day, or try to catch one all day. Whatever it is.
All day, yeah. Either you're going to catch them all day, or you're going to try to catch one all day. That's right.
Hopefully it doesn't blow nonstop and turn into one of those grinders. But
if it's not like
inevitably, it always does.
Yep. Yeah, you're going to have, and we have weather days built into every event. It's part of the game. You got to do it. So I feel bad for what happened this fall to an event. I had it happen to me in the Sturgeon Bay Open this last year, that they sent us on a day that they probably shouldn't have, and it ended up the next day was the nicest day of the year, and
yeah, I
without a doubt would have won that tournament.
Was everybody like stuffed?
Yeah, they held us into the shipping canal.
Yeah.
So it was stuffy. Did
you throw any punches?
No,
Nothing?
It never got to that. I think everybody had their expectations managed by the time we took off. Like, this is really going to suck.
You know what? I saw that. I remember seeing that, and I was impressed with some of the weights. People pulled good bags out of the.
You better get to where you need to be first. And unfortunately, I made a terrible decision right away and went into an area that I shouldn't have went into. I was throwing back 17 pounds, and my partner's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, we ain't winning with this, dude. We weighed almost 30 yesterday. We need it again."
Yeah.
And and then I just got out of that BS and went fishing and ended up catching what we did. But it's tough. I hated it for all the other anglers. I respected the tournament director's decision. I talked to him on the way to the lake that morning, and I said, "Okay, I'm going fishing. My boat's going in the water either way. So if this is the boundary we're getting, this is the respect's got to be there, because I would expect it back, right?" And we went fishing, and everybody survived. And that's another thing is, we touched on a little bit, that if you don't like something, you have the ability to take your money somewhere else. To go to social media and just complain constantly, and it's social media has hurt the industry so much. You know, that situation that we had with PWS out in McConaughey, I was up for 56 hours dealing with the fallout of a decision I made. And comes with territory, part of the job, but the social media side of things was unbelievable. You'd swear to God I hung somebody from a rope. Like, it didn't affect anybody but one person. That's it. It affected one person, and the social media world, like, it was unbelievable. Like, it was unreal. I finally just shut everything off. I actually shut down my Facebook account later the next day.
Just walk away.
For the week, I'm like, I just can't do this. Like, we're shutting, like, Head2Head's Facebook page got shut off, everything got shut off because it just wasn't worth the lashings that we were getting on there. And, you know, positive in a negative world. That's the quote of the day.
Be positive in a negative world.
Positive in a negative world.
It's
I love
getting
it.
to be, you know, everybody nitpicks everything to death, and be constructive. And
Adam has something for us to talk about quick here, is talk about how hard it is to find a venue for a tournament, and how do we lobby for tournaments in our communities? That's a great question. Scheduling, number one, is the hardest thing in the face of the earth when it comes to tournament fishing. Trying not to step on anybody else, or especially for us, because we have that 14-day off limits.
That makes it tricky.
It makes it tricky. It eliminates some anglers.
Trying to not eliminate people from fishing another tour.
Right. And not only another tour, but even their home water.
Like, we get guides, and it's very important.
If we get rid of that off limits, maybe we gain 15 boats on the Detroit River or Mille Lacs or whatever. But we are a pro level. Like, if you want to be a pro, these are the sacrifices you got to make.
Those are things that nobody else has that we, and I think there's a lot of people in the other circuits that wish they could have that. And you know.
So anglers in your local community, you guys have the ability to sway either positive or negative on a tournament like Head2Head coming to your water. There's some people that don't want any big tournaments, don't want any live on their water, don't want any of this. Talk with your local chamber. You know, the chamber is the best place to talk to. Local fishing clubs. Everybody knows somebody. That's what, like, all the research I do and all the people trying to get a hold of somebody in the chamber at Devil's Lake, right? Never ran an event there. I was on the phone with Susie in 4 minutes. Like, talk to this guy, Mike Leonard-Doozy, call me, here, this is who you need to talk to. Talking to Susie literally 5 minutes after I talked to Doozy. So everybody knows somebody. If you guys have a body of water that you would love to see us come to, or a big tournament come to.
In regards to, Adam, your question, I think that if you want to lobby for one, you should talk to your chamber, and then you should talk to them about, like, what time of year you're looking at, and, you know, are they going to be favorable towards that? And in the past with our real events, it's like, if they'll put up money if it's at this time of the year when they're trying to fill a gap. We're not really trying to run this like that, where we're trying to be at the wrong place.
I'd rather
the right place at the wrong time. We're trying to avoid that. So as long as you're not in a situation where you know, your town and your local area might be like, well, we don't want a bunch of tournament guys there because we have a ton of recreational people coming here as a destination at that time of the year, and we don't want to interfere with the local traffic. That's valid, you know, and we don't want to be a pain. And I don't know, you know, it's interesting. We don't really know what our numbers are going to be.
I'm honest with everybody that I'm talking to, is it's going to be 30 to 60. It could be 10. I hope not, because I want this to happen, you know. One thing that anglers don't do enough of, if you're pro tournament, there's a situation that happened, it's done, it's over with. A lot of people don't know what happened. Green Bay as a whole, the whole bay of Green Bay is now catch and release only for bass until July 1st. Well, it's not yet, it's going in April 1st. This has been a fight that some of us have been fighting hard on for the last 3 or 4 years, and it passed. I went to 25, 30 meetings. I walk in the room and there's 2 or 3 other people there. Now that this is passed, like Wisco, we had to make some adjustments to how we run a tournament, because you cannot possess a bass now until July 1st. Well, anybody that knows history of Sturgeon Bay, do you know why Sturgeon Bay is the fishery it is around the country? It's a Sturgeon Bay Open. It's done. It's over. It's gone. It's done. It's over. Last year's the last year of it. They're not, as far as I know, they're not having it again because they don't want to switch to
catch, record,
release. They don't want to run it that way. The company that they had running the tournament doesn't want to do it. It's super unfortunate. So people need to be involved in your fisheries. So if you live around Lake Winnebago or Mille Lacs or any lake in the country, know what's going on with your local politics. You don't have to get involved with an opinion and go fight all the time, but know what changes are trying to get pushed, know what the lake associations are trying to push down to limit your access, to try and get stuff taken away and regulated more than it already is. That's the biggest thing I could give.
Yeah, I mean, there's a venue for rule changes.
We need to know what's going on.
I've been on the Conservation Congress for Wisconsin for like 13 or 14 years now. I've been on the Warm Water Committee for 10 years. So all of the rule changes that come from the spring hearings when somebody writes a resolution, like your Sturgeon Bay ones, those all go through the Warm Water Committee, so I see all of that. And I mean, we're representing the people, so we're trying to stay with the popular vote, but there is times where, we'll sit and look at resolutions, and like this year, for example, there was resolutions for, I believe, the Peshtigo and Menominee, both walleye runs for refuge line changes. They've been very hard to enforce the way they're set up right now. So there's resolutions in place that were supported and have got passed on, so they'll be on next year. So the Conservation Congress spring hearings things, it's a long process. Politics kind of sucks. Everything in the government works slow, right? So it's a 3-year.
Slow is probably too fast.
If it's a resolution and it passes, then it gets put on as a Conservation Congress question. The next year, if it passes, then it goes on as a DNR question and rule change. So it's like a 3-year deal for something to really change. But I've been on there long enough to see things that have changed for the better.
Absolutely.
Limits, bag limits, et cetera. And I've been there fighting the forward-facing battle, which I think I will do for eternity as long as I'm on there.
Yeah, that was a question a lot of people don't know went through Wisconsin this year. The Conservation Congress was basically banning
people talked
sonar.
about banning forward-facing all around. And, I was more along the lines of our job as the Congress is to we're advising the DNR, right, on what our constituents want. So what we're doing is we're taking care of the resource, and the forward-facing, it's a way to catch fish. Maybe you catch them faster, maybe you don't. But at the end of the day, we can still protect the resource with different things, different tools, bag limits, or catch and release seasons, and things like that, and still have great fisheries and still use the technology. And that's what I'm saying. I always try to tell people I get involved in it again is I don't like to take away a privilege that we have right now. And like there's been over the years we've seen people that have talked about getting rid of fishing for the whole spring run, and when they say, all those people up by De Pere, they're just snagging fish. Well, there is time periods where a lot of fish get snagged and released, and whether or not that hurts the fishery or not. But that is one of the most, and same with Menominee and Peshtigo and everything else. Those people, that's a place where you have a world-class opportunity to walleye fish from shore if you can't afford a boat.
Right.
And I would hate to take that privilege away from those people. But, we can protect. And we need to not have these stories of, well, the DNR is there, they can't do anything, blah, blah, blah. These people are running fish up to their truck and everybody's snagging fish and keeping them. I mean, you got to be more proactive on turning people in if that's the kind of stuff that you're witnessing. And then also we need to find a way to change the rules to make the boundaries they're black and white, not gray. So there is more of a area where, they're not handcuffed.
Right.
From a law enforcement, from a PE standpoint. And, at the end of the day, it's all up to us. I know sometimes I feel like, man, this is very not rewarding, being involved in the management end of things. But at the end of the day, it's just like anything else, try to be positive and try to do stuff that makes sense, protect the resource, change the rules accordingly. Running the head-to-head, this thing's going to be the same thing. We're going to try to stay positive, listen to everybody's input, grow it every year, and if people like watching it and we can still create a good product, we're going to need help from the anglers, from the live.
100%.
We talked about that, and who knows what it'll end up as, but hopefully, we can keep the walleye tournament fishing world alive at all, because I feel like it's dying right now.
Unfortunately, tournament fishing in general is dying. Walleye is more like at risk to me than in bass side, just because bass has the programs from a young age building people up, right? They have high school fishing, college fishing. They have that platforms built to breed an angler, right? The Trey McKinney's, Tyler Corey, great example of that. He had the opportunities to go to college and do
college scholarships, right? I mean,
walleye world, that's not there. That's the old guard, unfortunately, is tapering off. The tournament old guard is what I mean, and they're not beating the door down to get young guys in like they are in the bass world. So we do have to stay proactive on the walleye side. I do feel the walleye side has the most opportunity for growth. Because unfortunately it's this right now. Because of everything that's been in place on the bass side for so long. And who knows, at some point we tried doing the walleye league back in 2021, and the legs were there, the base was there, and maybe at some point that we grow this to bring that back and build that and start walleye, college fishing, stuff like that in the northern part of the country. But biggest takeaway tonight, Nick, is be positive in a negative world. I mean, you should I might get that tattooed on my arm or something.
Right.
Just be positive in a negative world.
Right.
Thanks for coming in. Thanks for taking time out of deer stand. I know you said your daughter's, at a match tonight, and, we appreciate the opinion of Nick's shirts all the time. And if you do decide to not fish and you want to be involved, 100%, the seat is yours. We will be back here December 18th with at least one Katowski. I'm going to try to get both, if we can get them both together at the same
Brothers
time.
Katowski.
Yep. They've definitely made a name for themselves as a team in the industry. There you go. There's another one. And I'm looking forward to sitting down and talking to them. I became good friends with both of the guys over the last couple of years, and I look forward to sitting down with them. I appreciate everybody commenting, people chiming in. We want to keep this light, don't want to get too serious, don't want to keep it focused on one thing. Obviously, we went a lot of different ways, but the state of the industry right now, to me, is everywhere. Like it's not necessarily good, it's not terrible, but
we control our own destiny right now. People have to realize that we control our own destiny, and we need to be, positive and run, basically this is going to go where we take it. Look at it that way. And so I hope everybody is going to go out and enjoy some safe ice fishing soon. Use caution.
Like tomorrow, because it's like 2 degrees
I will
out
be
everywhere.
traveling to my first ice tournament within a week, less than a week, in northern Minnesota.
Right,
so it changes gears really fast right now. I've been in a tree a lot all over Wisconsin, Illinois, and had a great fall. We had a great blessed fall. Family, lots of meat in the freezer. We've had great success and taken some great animals and lots of good protein for the family. And we still have a little bit of work to do. Probably do a little bit of muzzleloader hunting this weekend, and then get my ice stuff together so it's not a hodgepodge when I take off on Wednesday. Hopefully the weather is nice like this, not too brutal.
Yeah, it's
cold,
man.
Man, it just...
My boat was in the water 2 weeks ago. Now it's sad, lonely in the garage.
Sad and lonely. We go from wrapping up hunting. I'll probably still try to get down to Iowa for a little bit of pheasant hunting. My buddy the Gravedigger, and then I'll probably get back down to Illinois and do one last effort to try to get the one. There's a couple of those buttes that I've been after, and I've been very picky in Illinois, and a little bit of bow hunting down the end. But yeah, we're going right into ice fishing this week. I might even go step on some hard water tomorrow. We'll see.
You'll probably be able to do it around home tomorrow. So
you never know. But yeah, I hope everybody has is having a great, safe fall and getting ready for the next season here, which is ice, and it's on us. It's coming fast.
And it
looks like it's going to be a long, cold winter. So embrace it and enjoy.
Yep. Well, until the 18th, we'll be here with at least one Katowski, possibly both. Again, thank you, Nick, for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Kyle.
I look forward to doing it again with you guys. Until then, head to head, we'll see you on the flip side.